So welcome back to the Beer Ambassador. My name is Mikhail. You can either watch this on YouTube later or you're listening to it on air. But basically I'm at a place called Koroneberg with the Kloster Brau Brewing monks. Well, I'm technically a member, but really we have two of the main founding members here, Rick Morella and John Ward. And so I'm going to be interviewing them today because, as we all know, HomebrewCon is this week. And so I want to talk about beer. So what's going on here is that Kloster Brau and the Brewing monks are a educational homebrew society here at the Renaissance Fair. Correct?
We're our own guild, basically.
We're our own guild.
We're part of the Koroneberg KGA, Koroneberg Guild Association.
Right, yeah, on the educational side.
Yeah, they do reenactment, but we're education, and of course we're a spin-off from Brew Illuminati, or part of Brew Illuminati.
Yeah, I probably should have grabbed the coin, then we'll grab it. You can see the shirt in the back there, the Brew Illuminati over my shoulder. But so Brew Illuminati, if you want to go on Facebook, we've talked about it several times. You do have the coin right there. I forgot that you made that into a little medallion necklace. So now, correct me if I was wrong. Whose idea was it to come out to the Renaissance Fair and do an educational brewing club here?
Well, I believe we were out as a club pouring at Green Zone and ran the Taste of Riverside when it was hosted here, and Nick and the Horaces and some other people had met Tom, the previous owner.
That's right. I thought Nico had Tom, but I can't remember.
The Baron's story here is that as a child, he was, I don't know, his parents were killed and he was found, and he had his father's beer recipe, and he found it as he grew up and made the beer, and the Baron liked it and it was his favorite beer, and so, I mean, the Emperor liked it and made him a Baron and gave him Koroneberg, and he hosts the festival. That's the festival story, but they've never had anybody here brewing beer, and so the Brewloo people were saying, hey, why don't you have anybody brewing beer? And Tom's like, I've always wanted that. Why don't you guys come out? And so it got worked out, and 4 years ago we came out and have been here ever since.
Yep. So what I think is really cool about that is that, I mean, it makes sense that someone's out there, and I know that somehow it came about that we would be the brewing monks, or the Kloster Brau, and that it made sense in that time period to have monks that were brewing. And of course, I'm the rebel where I don't really dress in a monk's thing once a year, but this year it didn't happen. I couldn't find my costume. But anyways, you guys didn't realize that, but when it started, like, Rich, isn't it kind of like a trademark now? Like,
yeah, it's what we're known for here, because we are the monks of Kloster Brau, and we are the brewing monks of Kloster Brau. So
everybody knows us by the ropes. People that we don't even know exactly who we are and what we're doing. It was like marketing genius. I wish we could take some credit for it, but we just did it because it was easy to do and looked right at the time. And
I remember there was a bunch of things on Old Brewloo about, should we do this? We had like a whole thing about like our backstory, and should we make it where it was monk or not, and all kinds of things. But it worked out. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think Nico came up with a really good scenario of the whole story, put it together really nice.
Yep.
I don't remember how it completely goes, but it's pretty nicely explained, and it's in the Koroneberg pamphlet that's online. If you go look online, you can find it.
The story, backstory is there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it's nice that we have the new ownership, and that Koroneberg has really welcomed us in, and so I know you guys. I mean, you guys and Scott, who's may or may not pop in this video or not, but you guys are kind of some of the core members. Matt Mead and Chad Adams are not here, but they are core as well.
They've been here a lot this season,
and
but
so
not here today.
The nice thing is that we can all kind of come and go if we need to, but there's a core thing coming here. So tell me, how is it brewing here as a demo compared to regular brewing, right? And what's the purpose? Because I don't know if people realize there's a challenge to brewing here than there is in regular brewing.
Well, I was actually going to say one of the impressive things here is the beers have all been drinkable because it's hot and dirty out here, and we talked about just demoing and maybe fermenting sugar and not bothering with doing the full thing, just to show people, to give people a look at what's going on. And we decided, screw that, let's do the real thing. So we did. From the get-go, we started and we do brew in a bag on Saturday and do ciders and meads on Sunday. And it is challenging. It's really dirty, but
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what was going on in the old world.
yeah.
But yeah, and
But we're still doing modern beers.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not doing we're lucky because they cut us a lot of slack because we're an educational group.
Yeah.
So we get to teach modern home brewing. We don't have to teach. We're not reenacting 16th century beers.
Well, but we've been a few. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Rick has been
Well,
here.
Yeah, we try to. I mean,
Well, we're
try
using
to.
recipes
Right.
that are
Recipes.
old recipes and stuff.
well,
but-
similar
but
old
we're-
German type style beers.
Right, but we're not
Easy to make, yeah.
not using their old techniques.
No.
No,
for
we're not
it.
doing rocks and stones. We do propane,
Yeah.
You have to.
but
It's
we have it
requirement.
down behind, and but like you said, the beers have been drinkable,
Yeah.
and
They come
people
out
like the beers.
There's a couple that have been really, really good.
right, and especially the ciders come out super good. I mean,
So that it's
amazing.
so a happy accident one year was cider with American hef yeast, just White Labs 320, I think is the number. And
Yeah, because we didn't have the right yeast, right?
right, we screwed up and didn't have cider yeast. It was kind of, I thought you had it and it didn't get here, but we had hef yeast and we pitched it, and it was like a Martinelli's cocktail the next week, and it loves the heat, and you add a little clove and banana on top of the cider, and even if it's a little green, it's still a little
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
And the hef yeast isn't bad at all on a green beer because
Yeah.
it's not. It's you leave it in the beer, so it's good to go. So
Yeah.
that was the happy accident. So we do that intentionally now, all the time.
yeah. So, and they mostly, almost everyone comes out drinkable, if not, really tasteful.
How do you, Rick? How do you feel that the response is for the public here when we're doing demos?
A lot of people don't come by really when we're demoing too much. I mean, they may come by and see what we're doing, but usually they see the pot boiling or something, or we're mashing in, and they see what we're doing.
Smell the
smell-
malt and the hops.
Yeah, and that kind of draws them in, and we talk to them about what we're doing, and they seem to appreciate that. So
There's almost a signature taste of our beers out here, because one of the things we do is we will boil for hours and keep topping off. I mean, some days we've boiled off literally as much water as is in the batch, and so you develop the melanoidins and the dark characters
Yep.
in the beer, and it gives it kind of a hallmark taste.
Right.
So it's funny. It's almost a Koroneberg signature flavor now, and it just came from because we're demoing and we want to be actively in
we
the
want
process.
to extend the boils and the mashes to it.
Because anybody can just look at a fermenter, but grain and hops and boiling going on is always way better than
For sure.
just watching a bubbler airlock.
And I might go over there, you know what, actually, I think I'll pan now, so I'll come right back to these guys. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see basically we got a bar, and there's Scott eating. he might come in later. But the reason I went over here is we actually have where we have malts, where we'll taste, get people to taste the grains and the malts. And we have samples of smelling the hops, as well as, wet hops or whole cone hops. And then you can see where this is where we brew the beer. And then it's the first time, and I'll get them to talk about the story, but for the first time we were actually able to brew a beer as the club at Phantom Ales, and they were able to sell it. And so we have that tap there as well, because to the public, we're not able to give beer, but they were able to buy that. So let's talk about the fact that a lot of people want to drink our beer, but we can't give it to them.
Yeah,
Because
we never serve the public.
Yeah. So we can't serve the public, but
hello.
And we always have people coming around to say hi. So if you want to go, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
But
Sorry,
so
excuse me.
it's okay. So as John goes away, and I'm talking with Rick, how is I know how it is, but tell us how the response is with the participants, those people who come here week in, week out, and they work the Koroneberg Faire.
Well, they seem to all love us dearly, so that means a lot to us. They love the beers that we make. Even though we don't give it to them, they get to taste a little bit here and there. So after parties or whatever you want to call it, we share our beers with people. So we can do that because it's a private event.
And the ciders and the meads, yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, they seem to really appreciate our beers, and there's nothing more that can be said there. They just love us, and they love our beers the way we make it out here. So, with that being said, a lot of people just love to come by and talk about beer, how we make it. And that's what all the stuff that Mikhail just showed you over there is what we talk to them about. We let them taste the grains. We let them smell the yeast. We let them pinch the fresh hops between their fingers. And they really love that. And that's what really, intrigues people into learning how to make beer. So a lot of them are like, yeah, I think I want to try this. So,
well, and that's what I love about our guild here is that it's informational, and it encourages people to brew and to learn the process, to kind of get that hands-on, tactile and flavor profile of what's going on.
Right.
And hopefully someone will actually make stuff at home.
Yeah, that's what we hope to teach people. I hope they'll go and try it. And we've actually had some people join the club because they want to be part of this whole scenario here that we do. So they want to learn more, so they have joined the Brewluminati Club.
Yeah. And so Brewluminati, again, is on Facebook. Anyone can join it on there, and there's probably 5,000 plus members. But we have probably 40, 50 members active here in Orange County. And there's a meeting at the last Thursday of the month at Phantom Ales, which is always good.
Yep.
And I know you're there often.
Yeah.
We do a bragging rights only where someone can win, which you guys just heard with Mike Neese. It's like the disco ball Beatles jacket is what I call it, from the Yellow Submarine era.
Exactly.
And you've won that jacket yourself several times.
Well, it really doesn't fit me.
Well, I know, but
I can put it on my arm. I've won a couple competitions.
You've won a couple competitions.
Yes.
You've had the bragging rights to be able to take it home.
Yes,
and keep it for the month until the next month.
And it's very cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And so I know that the other monks will come back in a moment. And I'm sorry if you're watching this, if it's not the best quality, because I'm trying to move things around. But you can see the Brewlu shirt in the background again. But there's a beer over your shoulder there, Rick. So that was brewed
last weekend.
And which one was that one?
That's a German rye beer or a Rogen beer.
A Rogen beer.
Yeah.
So
no tests are done on it, so we don't know anything about the gravity or anything. So everything is just guesstimation here. So,
which is way different than what we do.
Right. It's totally different than what we do when we're at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so over that. Although we do a lot of cleaning here, which is typical of a brewer, home brewers.
Yes.
We really into sanitation because that's the key to making really good beer.
Very good, and that's why we can still have really good beer out here, even though it's so dusty and dirty.
Yes.
What I find interesting, and this is maybe an encouragement to people, you're not going to know what the ABV is because we're not doing the starting and finishing gravity, but you can brew a cider, a mead, or a beer and not know that, and just know that it tastes good.
It's good, yeah, and that's basically what really counts the most is the taste of it. If you drink a couple of them, you'll know whether it's strong or not.
If it's going to hit you or not. That's true.
Yeah.
And we actually did a small beer just yesterday that we did a big and a small.
We did a barley wine.
A barley wine, but we did
second runnings,
which is a small, so it should come out as a regular beer,
right?
Kind of.
Exactly.
You can do that, and we did that out here as well.
Right. Yeah.
What has been your favorite part of being out here and being part of the Brewing Monks, as we're nicknamed or affectionately called, but Kloster Brau?
Yeah, Kloster Brau. Well, it's just the camaraderie of us all being together and just hanging out and making beer together as a group. And it's just so fun to come out and hang out with these guys all the time, every weekend for 5 weekends in a row. And I love it. I think they all love it. That's why we're all proud of being here and proud to come out and share what we know as far as making beers.
I agree. I had a really good time last time we were hanging out and drinking beers. So I'm going to see if I can get maybe Scott and John back in here. Maybe we can bring Scott over. But you can try and do that. Rick's going to step away for a minute. But I was just asking John. Rick what's his favorite part of being a part of Kloster Brau, or as we're affectionately known as the Brewing Monks.
Well, I've never participated in any Ren fairs, but this community here is just really, it's fun. You almost think of it as home. I mean, we've only been here 4 years, 4 years. But everybody's been so welcoming, and we didn't know what it would be like, and it's infectious, and it's really fun to hang out here. It's a lot of work. especially if there's only a few of us, because we come and go a lot.
Yeah.
And so some days we have everybody here and it's light duty, and some days if there's just a few of us, there's more work. And it depends how interested people are in the beers. But there's so many other guilds and things to do and people to see, and it's a really fun time. And since we all have passion for brewing, spending all day talking about brewing and sharing brewing with people that come by is always just a really good time. So there's a lot of good things happening here.
And I have witnessed where, to me, I'm very vocal, but I know guys like you. To me, I don't want to say blossom, but you guys are like really there, have a passion with the people and talking a lot. It's really cool to me.
Yeah, Chad Evans, he's like, I'm really glad I got to know you, because he'd seen me around, but I don't just go randomly talking to people like you do.
But the brotherhood has been awesome, but also sitting and talking to people who just come out and learn to just understand what the malts are and what the hops are and the process.
It's amazing how many of the participants make meads and beer and do their own little experimenting, and people come by, they've made their stuff and they want to hear about it and get some feedback and what we think and talk about how to make it better or any of that kind of stuff. It's just funny, amazing how many people brew. So it's a wonderful thing.
It is awesome. I was asking Rick, but I'm going to ask you now, John. What do you feel is like the best benefit of us being out here doing the demos? Is it? I think it's twofold, that it's been affecting the participants as well as the patrons, the people who come and just visit. But
definitely we're. I'm surprised how popular we are here. Particularly, I was a little afraid at first because we're not reenactors and we don't. We're using propane and we're doing brew in a bag and we have carboys and we're not doing.
We try to be period specific as much as possible. We can't.
Right. There's just things we can't do, and so I was a little concerned. And a lot of people here try to be very accurate and do lots of German and other full accents and characters.
Yeah.
But pretty much we all just go by our names, and we're not in trouble. People, because they know we're teaching brewing, and so everybody's been very accepting. So.
What's been I was talking about, we have we just did a barley wine down there with the big and the small, and we have this beer behind us. I just forgot what that one is.
Rogan beer.
The Rogan beer, sorry. I was getting confused with that one over there that we're pouring. What's been your favorite brew out here, at least this season, or maybe overall?
Well, actually, the ciders have been incredible. I've never been much of an apple cider person. I've always loved pear cider. But the apple ciders we've made have been really good, and even a couple that were, we've managed to, like some that were over tart in an odd way because the apple juice we back sweetened or done different things, and so and most of the cider making has been very experimental, just different yeasts based on what we've had or wanted to do, and blends. And so to me, that's been the funnest part, because cider's so easy. Literally, you pour it in a fermenter, you add some yeast, and if you have, moderate temperatures, you don't even have to control the temperature.
Yeah.
And
isn't that been amazing? We don't do any temperature control or anything. We just leave it out for the week, and we've had really good beers.
Right. We're picking yeasts that don't mind some heat.
Yeah.
And actually, this season, the beers did not do very well the first week because it was actually cool out here.
Yeah.
And so beers that we expected the cider to be ready after a week, because when it's so hot out here, the yeast just gets it done. But not this season. It was cooler, so the yeast. But yeah, we pick yeasts that don't mind some heat and are a little more forgiving on that sort, or give you the character you want, anyways.
Cool. So we just had Scott join us in the video, and Rob too. And I'll get to Rob in a minute, but Scott might not stay around as much. I know you're not feeling as well, but brother, tell me from your perspective, what's been the best part of being part of Kloster Brau out here at Koroneberg?
Definitely, the people are a big part of the process out here. We entertain and we educate and we try and teach people how to homebrew. So people can take that knowledge back to home and make their own beers, and then share with us or share their experiences with us, and we can help them through all the highs and lows and all the pain points of learning to brew. And so the people have really been a big part of that. Just meeting all kinds of new people, learning about all kinds of ideas people have for brews, and getting some ideas from those people, different ideas that are a paradigm shift from what we normally do.
And now as we've already had Rick and John telling us how everybody loves us out here, but it's like kind of like everybody, but especially you, are kind of like a celebrity.
Everybody knows Scott.
I am putting you on the spot, but because we love you, my friend.
It's all the hair. It's all about the hair. If you rock a good tonsure haircut, then everybody just flocks to you. And
that's right. You have to have
the
a tonsure
beard?
haircut or a beard to come out and
I have
participate.
my flock, and they're flocking best. That's all there is to it.
Mike's got to grow his out a little more. next
Yeah,
year.
mine's short. I know. But I got a
have
beard.
one, though. You
I
got
got a
one.
beard. It's
I'll give you
natural.
it. Yeah.
So I like that. You have a flocking.
More than your
I'm sorry.
flock to you.
I'm laughing over that. That's almost as good as Firkin. You know what I'm saying? So it's
He
nice.
has one of those too.
Yeah. So what would you think our main goal and focus going forward is, Scott? I mean, kind of as a Kloster Brau.
Definitely education. We're trying to improve the education of homebrewers out there, so we have more knowledgeable people who have a better idea of what the beer styles are supposed to be. Although those lines get grayed when people get crazy experimental ideas. Also, brewing beers at commercial facilities so we can pour them. That's been a really big hit this year.
Yeah, that was a huge thing this year.
Yeah, so that was really great for us to get our name out there that we brewed it in a commercial facility, and then we were able to serve the beer that we actually brewed. So that was really big. So then we're going to keep heading towards that direction where we're serving the beers that we're brewing and try and take it to the next level from there.
That's awesome. And I'm going to come over to Rob. Rob has been homebrewing for about 5 years?
4.5 years.
4.5 years, almost 5 years. And I've been friends with him and his lady for years. And we would see each other at events, and he would keep coming out to the fair. So I'm like, hey, why don't you join? So you joined. You've only been here like 2 weekends now. And so tell me what's your experience just coming into Kloster Brau from a new perspective.
Well, I think it's kind of exciting, having people that really don't know much about brewing, and they can ask questions, and pretty much we can help them, So it's kind of cool in that aspect, I was a little shy and timid at first, and then after a while, got a little more used to it.
Well, I mean, you had the costume, and you know about brewing, so it's kind of a natural fit, right?
Yeah, and it's really cool to actually tell people where they can get help, whether it's finding clubs in their area or.
We got to get you
depending
guys
on
some
where they're
robes,
living.
though.
Yes. Okay.
That's like our marketing genius.
I'll-
It's like the brand. Everybody
so
knows
listen,
who you are. when
I'd
you
hope
have
to
the
do it
robes.
for this year to make mine because I want to use a cloth that's a little more breathable, and then we'll look good. You probably have
This
a good
is
one.
full cut.
But I didn't want that polyester one.
Oh, Chad's is wool. Chad's is. I don't know how he's alive.
No, I wear a kilt, right? Half the time out here, and believe it or not, wool deals with moisture and heat very well. But I'll probably go with the cotton. But
Right when we
yes.
started, it doesn't matter. We're not.
But that's why I wore the brewing mug here, because it's got the same color, and it's just, at least they know I'm making beer. But you know that I've worn the
You have blue robes.
I've worn the brown monk's robe once on the first season, and then I wore my blue robe. But since I moved, I couldn't find it this year. So
You'll find it.
yeah, I don't know. I can't find any. I couldn't even find my tankard. So I've been with a drinking horn or borrowing Rick's tankard as I'm drinking now.
They've been pushing the faith, and I was going to try to actually sew the garments, but
Yeah.
just didn't have
No,
time.
you can do that. You'll get it for next season.
Yeah, next season I'll be ready.
So I would love to get Scott back in here, but before we close out. But essentially, where do you think we're going in the future? What's? I mean, just this is where I'm going to go. In the fact that as he comes back in, the fact. So we're talking about HomebrewCon. Where do you think homebrewing is going? And that when we do demos at organizations like this, how does that help homebrewing? Any one of you guys? I'd like to hear from all three of you, actually.
Well, we have definitely seen people get interested in it. I hear a lot of people say things like, I got a Mr. Beer kit and I either never used it or I tried it once and I don't know what happened, but now I don't know where to go from here. Do I just keep ordering Mr. Beer, extract kits and keep trying until I get it right, or what do I do? So, of course, we pimp our own homebrew club and we tell them, get on our forum, say you met us at the Renaissance Fair, and we will, we'll walk you through the steps and we'll taste your beer. If you don't have it, we'll help you brew another beer so that you can start all over again with some fresh eyes and some better ideas. And, basic process of how brewing is supposed to go, so we can figure out if it's a sanitization issue or if it's an ingredients issue, or what's the issue that you're having that you're struggling with. Maybe you're not waiting long enough and you're drinking it too green, or maybe you're, putting some ingredients in there that are just off the charts and don't go well together.
So it's a chance to help hook people up with Brew Illuminati, so they can get on the Facebook, and any beginner to advanced people are welcome there. So that's been useful to get brewers on Brew Illuminati. More Beer, Riverside.
Yep.
Rob's been.
Oh, I forgot.
helping
More
us.
Beer sponsored us now.
Yeah, they comped us all our homebrew ingredients for all the grain. So
Yeah.
that's been a big help to
Yeah.
not have to get that out of pocket.
That's awesome. Big shout out to Rob and More Beer there in Riverside, because that's awesome.
And they're a local shop here too, so when we get local people coming in, and
Yeah.
that's actually a good place to send them, because being mostly sort of out of Anaheim, Orange County, we're a little far for local people.
Yeah.
But of course, Facebook, the internet's always close to everybody.
Sure. And anything, your thoughts, Rob, or I'm going to close this out? Anything? Okay, well, I just want to say, guys.
Rob says no.
He
No.
says, no ending thoughts. But I want to say, thank you to my brothers, because these really are brothers in arms. And I think that John, you hit on it, that there's, when you spend so many weekends a year together, whether everybody's here for all 5 weekends, which most of you guys are, but some of us come out a couple weeks and some are not here. But there's this camaraderie and bond that we build, not just at the fair, which is nice, but over brewing. And I think that brewing, just like beer, it brings people together. So I just want to say cheers, because we do have beer and I can drink this. We didn't really get to talk about it. I was going to talk about it. We're drinking Poking the Bear from Bootleggers. It's a hazy double IPA, which is pretty nice. But anyways, until next time, my friends, drink good beer, eat good food, hang out with good friends like my Kloster Brau brothers here, and that's like a double entendre there, the brothers, the Monk brothers there, and drink more good beer. Until next time, this is the Beer Ambassador. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Cheers, my friends.